We all know the story of the prodigy or the natural, the person who was born being able to do whatever they do, or born to be able to do it. Research throughout the decades has disproved that this is true. Essentially, all prodigies have spent years, decades of their lives focused on honing a particular craft or skill set, whether that be something that's physical or entirely cognitive or a mixture of the two. And the first researcher that really honed in on this, his name was Erickson. I'm reading from this book, Deep Work by Cal Newport. This book has been somewhat influential in my life over the last few years. Probably not as influential as it should have been. Anyway, Erickson publishes a paper in which he claims, "We deny that these differences between expert performers and normal adults are immutable. Instead, we argue that the differences between expert performers and normal adults reflect a lifelong period of deliberate effort to improve performance in a specific domain." So basically what he's saying is there are no prodigies. Everybody who knows how to do anything, whether they do it well or not, has learned how to do that. And so after the prodigy was debunked, then scientists further went on to study, okay, well, what happens in the body as we learn and focus and study and do something intensely? And what they learned was that the nervous system is very similar to a muscle in that if you use it, then this muscle will become optimized to be able to function. So muscles grow larger. What happens in nerve tissue is that it becomes better insulated. I'm just going to read here because it describes it quite well. In the intervening decades since Erickson's first major papers on the topic, however, neuroscientists have been exploring the physical mechanisms that drive people's improvements on hard tasks. As the journalist Daniel Coyle surveys in his 2009 book, The Talent Code, these scientists increasingly believe the answer includes myelin, a layer of fatty tissue that grows around neurons, acting like an insulator that allows the cells to fire faster and cleaner. To understand the role of myelin in improvement, keep in mind that skills, be they intellectual or physical, eventually reduce down to brain circuits. This new science of performance argues that you get better at a skill as you develop more myelin around the relevant neurons, allowing the corresponding circuit to fire more effortlessly and effectively. To be great at something is to be well myelinated. So the reason I wanted to share this is that all too often I think that the learning process is so abstract that it's hard to understand what's happening or even could happen, and therefore it's easy to lose faith that the efforts exerted will result in something. Something like exercise is far, far less abstract. As soon as you go and work out a muscle, you're immediately rewarded with soreness in the sense that you know you did something, and you know that that muscle is going to regrow stronger because it wasn't strong enough to do whatever you asked it to do, and that's why it's sore. It got slightly damaged. And so then the muscle is going to rebuild and regrow even stronger than it did before. The process of learning is a bit more abstract because we really can't see what's happening. But I think that if we just understand that if we focus intensely on something and practice with intense focus, the brain and the nervous system will myelinate those nerves that will allow us to do the task more efficiently and effectively. And that is why we go from being able to not do something to being able to do something is because our nervous system becomes more optimized. So hopefully this isn't a silly video. I just want to make learning and growth slightly less abstract.